Right now, though, time for a look through this morning's front pages. The Times top story is thousands of parents facing fines for not declaring their child benefit, while the Telegraph leads with the Royal Mail story and has the Help to Buy mortgage scheme, which starts today, and it aims to help home buyers who can't afford a big deposit. There's also a picture of Prince William playing football at Buckingham Palace to mark the Football Association's 150th anniversary. And the Daily Mirror warns of winter blackouts due to dramatic drop in energy supplies. There are also, as you can see, pictures from last night's Pride of Britain Awards. Well, here with me this morning, journalists Hugo Rifkind and Jane Martinson. Great to see both of you.
Good morning.
Really good to see you. And one of the other big stories, A&E doctors say they're under intolerable pressure. No surprise there, but they're actually saying that the patient safety is at risk.
Yes, there's a suggestion that doctors are working 20% more than they should be, like a fifth too many hours, basically, than they ought to be in A&E. And the Department of Health is saying, well, they're bringing in another £1 billion, £500 million of A&E funding over the next couple of years. But, I mean, actually, the problem here, when A&E starts to suffer, A&E is like it's the drain that everything runs into. When you cut all other services, A&E feels the squeeze. And so when doctor surgeries are open less time, when social care is being squeezed, when patients are being sent home from hospital too early, it all ends up in A&E, and it all ends up in pressure on A&E.
I mean, we've had lots of stories about people unable to get an appointment at their local doctors, so they're going to A&E with all sorts of ailments, not really serious
and
emergency cases.
Up, which is not good.
Yeah.
Which is not good at all. What about this one? Nick Clegg says, he's going to say later on, it would be economic suicide for Britain to leave the EU. Our Sue Jameson is at Westminster for us on that story. Sue, what else is he expected to say today? What are the implications of this, do you think?
Well, Nick Clegg essentially this morning is saying wake up and smell the café when it comes to Europe. It's some of the clearest language yet, that if we just stumble out of the EU, he says it'll be into a disastrous mix of loss of jobs and power and influence. And I've just been speaking to his colleague Danny Alexander, who's admitted that the pro-European argument has taken quite a time to take off, that it really has been left to the anti-Europeans to make all the headway and the airwaves. But it will be an issue at the next election, and you can also see that in the in-out, shake it all about reshuffles that we've had, rather lower branch stuff admittedly, but looking for people who are going to connect with the voters as well as issues. And David Cameron, of course, trying not to be the posh white boy who didn't know the price of milk or sliced bread in his case that he was once accused of. And we're seeing people like Sajid Javid and also Esther McVeigh coming in there, and Mike Penning, former fireman, all trying to say we are not out of touch.
Fascinating. Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much indeed. Now, the National Grid has warned that Britain faces its highest risk of an electricity blackout. Bit scary. For a decade, they're saying 6 years, but some people are saying a decade as well. That is quite frightening.
Yeah, and they're blaming a lack of investment, which, given Ed Miliband, the Labour leader, 2 weeks ago, said that he was talking about a price freeze if Labour comes to power. Obviously, what the electricity companies, energy companies are going to say now is, we need the money, we can't do it. When there is an argument, obviously, that they should have been investing in plant rather than boosting bonuses for their top executives.
Indeed.
But let's hope the current mild weather continues.
I mean, you need to build stuff is the problem. You know, we've stopped. Our coal plants are closing. We're not building new ones for very valid environmental reasons. But we're not picking up the slack. You know, I mean, I personally think we need to be building a lot more nuclear. I think that's the only way we're going to keep the lights on.
You're probably in a minority of that, but I actually think that we have to get grown up about this, and maybe that's the way.
France does it.
Yeah.
France is fine.
But they've always done it, so they have a real problem with decommissioning. That's the problem now, that people can't work out what to do at the end of the 20, 30 years.
Absolutely, that's very true. Now, look, great night last night, Pride of Britain Awards were on, of course, and this is where people are honoured. People are honoured for extraordinary things, so-called ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of the papers, you know, you see lots of people turning up in sort of wonderful frocks. And may I say, your own frock looked particularly wonderful.
Thanks very much, yes.
But of course, this is an event that's all about sort of ordinary people who've done heroic things. You know, I mean, there's the sort of the hero soldiers, and there's the lollipop lady who threw herself in front of a car, and it's all
incredible,
amazing,
just really amazing,
extraordinary. I mean, I just sat there being amazed. The whole evening.
And the 91-year-old who stood outside and raised tens of thousands of pounds.
She nearly raised nearly £100,000 dressed as a bee. 91 years old, dressed as a bee, and then she got David Walliams. Well, I mean, David Walliams was going to dress up, of course. He doesn't need any excuse, but he made a beautiful bee, a spectacular bee.
You weren't tempted to go as a bee?
Maybe I should have gone as a bee. I mean, I know it's
the dress was too nice.
I do, and I did really have a lovely night. But it's all that thing about what to wear and everything is always difficult. But as you said, it's not about all these so-called celebs. It's a funny old word.
Yeah.
It was about the folks, and it's on tonight, 8 o'clock on ITV. And here's another one. Almost 30 years afterwards, Open All Hours is returning to our screens. Extraordinary. That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny sort of trying to think of all the programmes you remember, particularly the comedies, which ones you bring back. And the ones, so my favourites are sort of ab-fab, they've brought back, or they've tried to. But 40 Towers, a famous one, only 6 episodes ever made. The most famous comedy, you know, obviously John Cleese is still around.
No, that's right. I think he only did about a dozen. So, I mean,
would they be able to do that?
Well, what's nice about this one, of course, Ronnie Barker is no longer around.
Yes.
But I think
David Jason
is moving into the Ronnie Barker role.
Oh, I see. He's going to be in charge of the shop.
Oh, well, I think he must be. I think he's inherited the shop.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
because he was a young man back in the original, you know.
Yeah, the pictures are lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love things like, I loved Pole Dark.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I thought that was really good. And then they brought it back, but they didn't sort of carry it through. It was only like a one-off, and that would have been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the whole sort of next generation of Pole Dark. That was a good one.
Blackadder, the next Blackadder, that's what I'd like to see.
Blackadder.
The Aeneid line, actually.
Well,
Thinking of proper, the Aeneid line was
yeah,
fabulous.
that was good.
The music, particularly.
Yeah. Or else, why don't we not... Let's not make the new ones, just show the old ones again.
Yeah, that'll work.
We could do that. We could absolutely do that. We could. Now, a range of commemorative coins are going to go on sale today. It's in honour of baby Prince George. I don't know if you can see it because it's quite teeny tiny, beanie weenie, but that it is there. There it is. So that's out. If you are collecting these things, you will love that one. There it is. Beautiful. And Prince William, busy yesterday at Buckingham Palace, wasn't he?
Yes, he was playing football with lots of aspiring footballers, warning people not to break his grandmother's windows.
Imagine. Granny would not be happy. He's not a bad wee football player there. It's good. Do you know what I like about Prince William? He takes things on and then he carries it through.
Yeah.
You know, because he could have said, I'll be involved with footy and all that, that's fine, but actually invites everybody back to his granny's lawn.
Yeah.
Play footy.
When he could have stood there in a blazer watching them kick it around.
Like his
dad. He's in there. And he's in there.
Didn't say that.
Thank you both very much indeed. Now, do let us know what you think. We were talking about A&E doctors who say they're under intolerable pressure, which risks the safety of patients. What's your experience of A&E been like? And did you feel that the staff there were very pressurised? Also, Open All Hours is making a comeback. Any TV shows you'd like to see return? And why? You can message us on Facebook, tell us what you think on Twitter. If you're over 18, do text 67890, it'll cost you 25p, plus that standard network charge. Right, £31,000 to be won in this week's competition. Here's Jenny.